Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, I'm Rob. Let's talk about some championship weekend. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got that going on. And guess what, guys? We got a coordinator. We're coordinated. And I don't just mean my necklace here with my shirt. It's all blue. Different shades.
Looks like you're a little blue today.
I am. Well, you know, I just got back from the beach, actually. This is the beauty of living in the Tampa Bay area. It's January 25th.
55 today, all right?
Yeah, we hit 82. 82. Like, let's go to the beach for a few hours. Don't get me wrong, it was way too cold to go into the water. I didn't go in the water. Like, I dipped my toes in the water, of course. But it was like, polar plunge if you wanted to go in there. Though you did see some tourists there, but I guess if you're used to like 40-degree weather.
Yeah, it's a hot day. And I've also done the polar plunge and a few ice baths, so probably be just fine for me.
It was like a soft brag that I wasn't. He's like, I've actually done that a few times. I've been known to dive into cold water for no apparent reason otherwise, but to say that I did
the polar plunge is for charity.
Okay. Sure it is.
No, that's you literally...
Are you saving polar bears?
Well, no, it was actually like kids with cancer.
Oh. It made me feel like the jerk.
Yeah, way to be.
Anyway, on to the Giants news.
Yes.
All right, guys. So, yeah, as I said, we did hire a new coordinator today. Today, the Giants hired Michael Ghobrial, who was one of the special teams assistants for the New York Jets the last couple of years there. And what's interesting is Jets punter Thomas Morstead gave a interview today with the New York Post talking about his impending free agency. And when he did that, he went out of his way to give a ringing endorsement to our new hire here. So that's always good when people feel the need to say something positive.
With not the necessity when they didn't have to.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, he doesn't have to go house hunting. He can just stay where he's at.
I know. When I saw that hire, I went, I guess he's just going to go into the office the other week.
Yeah. And it's funny because I saw one guy on Twitter, and he had a lot of likes, actually. I was kind of shocked by this going, if this guy's so good, why was he available? Because he was an assistant special teams coach, guys. The Jets couldn't block it. Yeah. So if that's your question, there's your answer. I will say this. It's his first time being a special team coordinator in the NFL. So it's not a slam dunk, oh my God, amazing hire. But if you're going to hire somebody for a first timer, you want to hire somebody from a team that's done well in that department. And the Jets have done well in that department there. He's just 36 years old as well, so very young. I mean, hell, he's 6 years younger than me almost at this point. I mean, it's way to make me feel old. When you're getting older than the coordinators, it's like, that's getting bad. I mean, I'm getting old now. So spent the last 3 seasons as the Jets assistant special teams coach, as I said, coached under a coordinator, Brant Boyer, who's considered one of the best in the entire NFL. This guy is considered one of the elite class special teams coordinators. Sounds weird to say that the Jets have anything elite, but yes, they do in that scenario. And, of course, also learned under assistant Leon Washington as well, who's another guy that obviously remember him from his days with the Jets. But, yeah, I mean, again, if you're going to take from a team that's successful. And they had one of the best, special team units in all of the NFL. Last year, they were ranked number 3 in the NFL by Rick Gosling with the special team rankings for the NFL there. So, listen, top 3. Yeah, take one of their assistants if you're going to take an assistant.
100%.
Yeah. Jets kickoff coverage has led the league this season, averaging just 15.3 yards for a return. Opponents of the Jets had a 40.4 yard net punting average, which is just 7th in the NFL there. So, again, top 10. The kicker had a 92.1 field goal percentage, making 35 out of 38. You had rookie Gipson had ranked second in the league with a 23.2 kickoff return average. Ashton Davis had 12 special team fumbles. That's not special team tackles and forced and recovered a fumble. And this is all just this year, guys. As bad as the Jets were on offense, people forget 2/3 of their team is stellar. It's just when you have a bad offense, things don't tend to get wrong.
Yeah, I guess it's borderline stellar, but it's still pretty damn good.
That's still a damn good defense, and that's still a damn special teams.
Yeah,
it's just a shitty offense. That's what I'm saying. It's 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
now
but
this case,
according to Meatloaf,
bad because 2 out of 3
wrong.
is bad. No, 2 out of 3 is bad. He was wrong.
I was saying, according to Meatloaf, he was wrong.
I knew you were going to do it. I knew you were going to do it. You took the words right out of my mouth.
It must have been when we were talking about football.
Prior seasons there, special teams captain Justin Hardy made the Pro Bowl, 14 tackles on special teams there while he was there. Their kicker also has kicked 3 out of the 4 longest field goals in Jets history. So, yeah, his time with the Jets has been very productive, has been very good. And, again, what degree of that is him? I don't know. I think that's safe to say no one knows except the people in the Jets organization. And let's be honest, if they like the guy, they'd give him all the credit in the world when he's interviewing.
I mean, also the players.
Yeah, I mean, if the Jets thought he wasn't helping, he wouldn't be there.
Correct.
I think that's a pretty safe thing to say there at that point. Again, this isn't his first year with them.
I mean,
he spent a few years now.
I mean, let's be real. They play in the same stadium. They know a lot of the same staff from each other's sides. They've heard things from the inside, most likely. So it's not like, taking special teams from a West Coast team and trying to bring it over here. They're literally in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
They're actually in the front yard.
They know everybody there. They know everything going on. There is no surprises whatsoever as far as that kind of stuff there. They know what's going on. Let's see here. So let's go over the rest of his time here. So obviously with the last 3 seasons, like I said, we had him here in the New York area as the assistant special teams coordinator for the New York Jets. Prior to that, he spent the 20th season as the special team coordinator for Washington State University. Now, I will say this. He only was that for like 3 or 4 games because, again, 2020, COVID. It was a very shortened season. The team was 1-3 on the season. Prior to that, he spent the 2 years prior to that as the special team coordinator for University of Hawaii.
Hawaii.
That's how they say it there. They say Hawaii. They don't say Hawaii. I don't know why we don't want to say it that way.
I mean, I guess it depends on the island because I definitely heard a Hawaiian senator say Hawaii.
Oh, do they say it that way? When I went to Oahu, every single person who's native Hawaiian said Hawaii.
It might just be like, listen, there's a lot of islands. There's probably a lot of different dialects. Like, if I went to Boston, they're going to say Jersey a little different from, someone from Staten Island compared to where
they're like Hawaii wicked.
Yeah. Those volcanoes are wicked.
Anyway, though, they did go to the bowl games both years with the in Hawaii there. So prior to that, he was with the Detroit Lions in 2017 under the Bill Walsh University Coaching Fellowship. Prior to that, he spent 2 years at Tarleton State University as special teams coordinator / defensive line / outside linebackers coach. That's what happens when you work at these little rinky-dink schools. They give you 10 jobs.
Pretty much.
Then before that, graduate assistant over at Syracuse University. Worked then initially with UCLA, a graduate assistant from 12 and 13. Was a quality control coach in 2011, undergraduate assistant in 2009 and 2010. He did play a couple of years at UCLA as a defensive end back in 2006, 2007 there. I do see Connor in the comments section asking about any kind of stats for him. I don't have any stats. I didn't look at that, to be honest with you. I didn't think that would come up as something people would be curious about, to be honest with you.
Listen, we'll call on comments. Hi, Dad.
Well, to the comments there, but I just figured since we're already talking about it. I just didn't see anything there. He played 2 years as defensive end. That's all I know. He was listed on the honor roll in 2006 in the fall semester. That's all I got. That's all I got. Didn't like I said, didn't expect that question. Way to keep us on our toes, Connor.
Yeah, way to be.
But again, I like the hire. As you said, they know people in the Jets organization. These guys all talk. They know what's going on. You got a successful team on special teams. You need a special teams coordinator. They have a very young guy, up and coming coach, been trained by one of the best in the NFL. And one thing I really, really like about this hire, he has absolutely no connection to Shaner Dable that I'm at least aware of. This was a fresh, get him in the building. Let's see what we got. You know,
I mean, I guess unless, the past 2 years they had the connection of being at MetLife.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying as far as like he's not coming from the Bills, he's not coming from Alabama, like that. That's what I mean.
No, I got you. I was just being facetious there, but no, I think it's a good move. Like I said, they've seen each other play. They know what they do per se. They don't know the playbook as much, but like when you got a guy that doesn't have to change his home, get a new job, maybe definitely making more money, same commute, same everything.
Oh yeah,
more responsibilities. Like he's got this more of an honorable role where he could move up in his career as an NFL coach. And so what I say about that.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm trying to find out where he's born. I'm curious because it's like I wonder what kind of like thick skin he has because you keep hearing about that now. And instead of me finding out where he's born, I found out where he lives and his phone number. The internet's a scary place, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say what I searched to find this. I'm just saying, like that's literally what I came up with. Maybe we should call him up live on the show.
Yeah, right.
Could you imagine? Oh my God. It would be hilarious.
He picks up and he'd be like, "Hey, is this the Falcons?"
Hilarious. Oh my God. I really think that'd be spectacular. But yeah, I'm gonna take a screen. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of that. I'll call him later on. See if we can get him on the show.
Shoot him a text.
It's scary. Internet's a scary place, guys. Internet's a scary place. If you haven't Googled yourself, you should
he's from California.
Is he from California? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Torrance, California.
Yeah. Okay. So worst comes to worst, he gets frustrated, he can smoke a little weed, and he'll be fine.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, bro. I don't know what it is in California.
It's funny because we all have that LA like image of people in California, but it's such a freaking massive state. It is so different. I know you got family out there, so you know what I'm saying.
It is.
It's like it's such a massive state.
You're not wrong because it's south of Los Angeles.
Okay, so he's in that section.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's that surfer skater kind of
south of Santa Monica. Yeah, Torrance is like right there on the beach too. Damn,
there you go. See, that's what he's doing. He's surfing. Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how.
Let's go surfing.
Does it give his middle name by any? I'm so curious
San Diego.
If this actually is his phone number or not. Yeah,
like you said, that'd be scary.
I think it's kind of scary. It really is kind of scary. I'm scared for him. I'm scared for him if that's actually his nickname, his middle name. If I actually got the legit stuff, but where people start finding it on their own, and everybody starts calling this guy, and it's not even him, probably. But yeah, again, I like the move. I'm good with this. I think that this is a good start to fill this coaching staff back out again. I'm not overly confident because he's never done it at the NFL level before, but again, I like it.
It also means we're not going to get our hopes up.
No, but I'm saying I like it overall, and I think that you can't go wrong with hiring a guy again from a successful squad like that. If you're going to hire an assistant, get one that's doing doing good. Don't get one from like our team, for example.
Yeah. Who else messed up? The Patriots, right?
We talked about some of the guys we might want to upgrade, like Jerome Henderson. We might want to talk. We talked to him about the DC position, considering how bad special teams has been the last couple of years. It doesn't make sense to hire from within in this case. So they went truly outside of the organization.
Yes,
with a guy they obviously feel comfortable with. My biggest thing I want to see is him not allow our starting ace kicker to play when he's clearly injured and not unable to kick, because that's still a move that this Giants team to this year that just pisses me off to no end. And I don't know how much of that is T-Mac and how much of that is Dable and how much of that is I don't know who else I want to blame, but there was no reason in that last game that he was kicking that Graham Gano should have been out there. He was clearly injured. He was clearly not able to kick. The season was clearly over. That was some bullshit. Calling it out.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Like, we're not making the playoffs. Let's not risk more injury to our best player in special teams. One of the top 5 players on the team.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. All right.
Ugh.
Let's get into the second topic here, which is, of course, we got to go over the AFC, NFC championship games. The games that decide who gets into the Super Bowl. Oh, yes.
Let's talk some bowl talk.
And then after that, guys, we'll have some updated Giants news for you, NFL news overall. As we said, I'm going to start putting that stuff towards the end of the program. That way, people want to look back at this later on. They don't have to go through 10, 15 minutes of current news that's no longer current to people watching it a month later.
Touche.
Exactly. All right. So the NFC championship game here, and I'm bringing it back for you guys. Rob is excited about this. We're bringing it back. The AI images. I asked the AI image to go ahead and create for us the Chiefs versus the Ravens. And this is what it gave us. As I peek out the side here.
Big birds.
This is nice. That's nice. That's nice. For you guys who are watching, who are not able to watch it on video or listening on podcast, you're missing out, because this is some amazing imagery here. These birds are like half the size of a horse. It's crazy. It's crazy here. It really is.
But you also get that like one chief in the background, like half the size of a horse as well. So it's pretty.
AI doesn't understand size distribution.
Yeah.
It also doesn't understand landscape. I keep trying to get to the landscape.
But it definitely got Albert Hitchcock in there.
Oh, it definitely did. Definitely did. So yeah, first up, we got the Chiefs and Ravens. Ravens are a 3.5 point favorite. Over under on this game is 44.5. Before we get into the game itself, Rob, why don't you give everybody the wrap up on last week and how we did?
I was going to say, you're just going to skip over the recaps.
No, I realized I skipped it through, and I thought I was doing very good at not, like overcoming that and getting around that, and then you just blow up my spot up there like that. I see how it is. I thought it was a good transition. Smooth. I thought it was pretty smooth, actually.
It was pretty smooth because actually, you know what? I'm really excited to see what happens with the 49ers and the Lions. Anyway, talk about last week. Senior Drew, you had 3 wins against the spread. I'm sorry, straight up. Well, also against the spread. Yeah, you were 3-3 in that. That's because you took the Bills to win and the spread.
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
You're over under. You're 50%. You got 2 of those, which gave you 2 trifectas, which you have been smoking that stat, those 2 all year, which puts you at 171 straight up, 137 on the spread picks, 138, which are over under, and 65 for your trifectas. So for your main stat 3, you're above 50% all year long.
I was about to say that was what that did that last week for me. That got me over 50% of the one category. I wasn't over 50%.
And you're nearly 63%, a few decimal points shy.
Yeah. I'll take that.
A 63 stat.
We talked about it. Anytime you're over 50% in gambling, you're winning. So
Correct.
considering the fact that we literally bet every single game, I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week.
100%. I also went 3-3 against the spread and straight up because I took the Bills as well.
And the Bills let us down. Jeez, the Bills let us down.
Yeah, they were
wide right.
Their game to lose.
Wide right.
Some crazy weather, but wide right. Damn. I only had one trifecta because I had one of the over-unders. As you went the over with the Ravens, I took the under. I lost.
What was interesting though is my two over-unders that I got were the Ravens, Texans, the 49ers, Packers. The one that you got was the Lions and Bucks. So it wasn't like we even matched up. We went different almost every single over-under except the one we both got wrong, which was the Bills and Chiefs.
Correct, which I definitely did not see that in that kind of weather. But anyway,
no,
that puts me at 178 straight up, leaving me just a little over 65%. I got 156 against the spread, leaving me at 57 and change. And then I'm below 500 when it comes to the over-under. I'm at 131 here, leaving me at 48.16. Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, but again,
I got 61.
If we weren't picking every single game, if we weren't doing every single game, you'd be over 50% easy.
Oh, yeah, easy. There's so many times. So last week, I felt very confident in these picks. I took the Ravens in the spread. I took the Packers in the spread. I took the Lions in the spread. And I took the Bills to win straight up. And I lost my shot to win like 17-1 because the Bills. Womp, womp,
womp. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it's a bad week necessarily for either one of us. I just had that one difference. And that one difference gave me the 2-point win because the over-under also got me the trifecta on that one. That's all. So that's a pretty close week from us there. I'll take my close win. All right. Anyway, back to the game that I started talking about before. Remember, we had to recap, and before Rob called out the fact that I forgot to recap when I thought I had a smooth transition. Way to kill it. Way to kill it.
Way to be a smooth criminal.
Yeah.
Drew, are you okay? Are you okay, Drew? Are you okay? Are you okay, Drew?
I've been hit by. I've been struck by.
A smooth Robbie.
So now the big thing is with this game here with the Chiefs and the Ravens is this is being billed as Mahomes versus Jackson. And the interesting matchup really to me is seeing these two defenses battle it out. As much as it's talked about the quarterbacks, I know the quarterbacks get all the glory in this NFL, and we get that. We don't have a quarterback that deserves glory, but we get it. So this game will probably be decided by those defenses, though, by whose defense makes a big play. That being said, since both defenses do look great typically, I got to look at the offenses to see the differences on these two. Mark Andrews is set to return. And while he isn't as good as Kelsey, even when 100% healthy, he's about as close as you get to Kelsey in this league.
He's consistently a top 3 in this league.
Exactly. You know, it's like you got him and Kittle are kind of 2 and 3, however you want to count it at that point there. Both teams also have pretty good running games. The Ravens will have better receivers with Zay Flowers and OBJ, and a much more cohesive offensive line. And the injuries are an issue. First team All-Pro left guard Joe Thuney is set to miss the game. You're missing an All-Pro on your offensive line that's already had issues at time. That's an issue. Isaiah Pacheco and Sky Moore, they're starting running back and one of their few talented receivers they have. Both missing practices this week as well, which only further separates the talent level. So, I mean, to me, I'm 100% going Ravens. I'll be shocked if they don't win. But, you know, I'll say this in the end. When you got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, anything can happen. So I may be shocked. But I'm going Ravens. I'm going, Ravens to cover. I mean, I've said Ravens getting 3.5 points. They're going to win either way. At that point, with the spread pick there, I do have the under. Like you said, these are two really good defenses going at it. I expect this to be like a 21-17 kind of game in the end, because I really think both defenses are going to hold their own. Again, you got two great quarterbacks. You never know. But I'll say this: if I had to bet and actually put money on it, I don't know I would put money on this game, to be very frank.
Yeah, this is a game
I don't.
where
It's the other game I'd be more likely to put money on. But again, we don't chicken out. We give our bets for every single one. So Ravens under.
Yeah, well, I disagree with you.
That's fine.
Almost
You may.
full-heartedly.
Almost.
Because I'm taking the Chiefs to win this game. I'm taking obviously the Chiefs to cover this game. But I'm also taking the under in this game because I do agree that both these defenses are going to be the decision maker. I just think that defensive line for KC and their the linebackers, that all of them are just fast young guys, faster mobility guys that will contain Lamar from the run game and bring him pressure. And Lamar's biggest challenge has been, can he be a playoff quarterback? Mahomes is now in his 6th straight year in this championship game.
And how many years have you been playing?
6.
6, exactly.
So I'm going to take the veteran in this scenario of the championship game to lead his team to victory.
All right. Well, we'll find out Sunday. They play everybody, just so you know, as far as schedule-wise here, because I know things get a little crazy in the postseason. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be that game on Sunday. On to the next game here, the 6:30, which is interesting. I can't believe they're doing so close. Like, imagine there's like a overtime in the first game. Like
double overtime.
Like, yeah, you never. It's the playoffs. You never know.
Playoffs.
Like, they should have done. I still think they should have done one Sunday and one Saturday. Have a dedicated night for each of these guys.
I would agree with that.
That would have made more sense. But what do I know? Anyway, we got the Lions at the 49ers. And oh, yes, we are bringing it back again. Oh, yes, the Lions at the 49ers. Oh, yes, look at that. That is spectacular right there. Again, if you're in an audio podcast, you are missing. You need to hop on to the YouTube channel and see this.
It is fantastic.
It is fantastic. Playoffs.
We're going to win a few games.
Yeah, but so the Lions here are perhaps the best story in all of sports right now. Not just the NFL. I mean, literally the best story in sports this year in general. Even though it's now technically 24, I'm still calling it 23 for this because it's just 23 season. The team's fans deserve a ring just for putting up for everything they put up with for so damn long. I've said it before in this program, and I'll say it again. There are certain teams that have real fans. And what I mean by that is they've dealt with a lot of BS. They've stuck around through it. And they still root for these guys with all their heart and soul. I'm talking Lions fans, Browns fans, Jets fans.
Really
I even throw in there.
To see that happen. The Browns and the Lions in the Super Bowl. But obviously that can't happen now. But just imagine those 2 Rust Belt cities that never been to the Super Bowl.
We were both on the show.
Hammered hard workers going to Vegas and having the time of their lives.
we both were saying that's what we wanted there at that point there, so here's the problem. While the Lions have looked really good, they've won 2 playoff games. Listen, it's the first playoff games they've won in my lifetime.
And listen, getting them out of the wins they've won this season, giving them the first, the division winners giving them the second seed. That's all been phenomenal for Detroit fans. Just to get to the glory land has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you won 2 of those playoff wins. You are an ecstatic fan if you're in Michigan.
Yeah. Now I should clarify. I forgot they did win a couple of games with the Barry Sanders, so it's not since I've been alive they won, but it's been since '91. So it's been 23 years. Let me put it this way: the last time prior to this year that the Lions won a playoff game, Brett Favre was a Falcon.
Oh, jeez.
That's how far we're talking. That's how far back we're going, guys. Okay. Like CDs were coming out as a brand new thing.
Yeah. Run DMC on CD.
What the Y2K bug hadn't even talked about yet.
They didn't even know what it was.
No, that's how far back we're going. There was no internet. There was no cell phones. There was no. That's how far back we're going. So listen,
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Great season. Great season.
In theaters. Vanilla Ice
But you know what
had a number 1 hit.
You know what the problem is with the Lions right now? They're not playing the Bucs this week. That's the problem. The Niners are a veteran team that is playoff battle tested. Plus, they're playing at Levi Stadium. And anytime one team has more talent, more experience, and home field advantage, you're going to have to probably assume they're going to win the game. The big thing that I'm kind of curious on this game, the one that might set them level the playing field at least a little bit, is we got to keep an eye on the Deebo Samuel situation there, who basically could be a game time decision. He's got a shoulder injury that's kept him out of practice pretty much all week here. Considering the stakes in this game, though, guys, if he can play at all, he's going to play.
I thought I saw he had a light practice today.
I hadn't heard of that yet.
I don't think it was confirmed.
When I looked it up earlier, I saw he's been out all week long. So, but again, I've been heard he's on the upward trajectory. Is basically what the wording is they've used there. So,
my supervisor was in my car today, and he got an update saying that he was supervising. Practice. My supervisor, he was.
I know he was supervising.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're talking football, of course. That's what
football
you do at work.
But yeah, I mean, again, this is a scenario where if he's going to be able to play, he's going to play in any way, shape, or form. Even if it's just as a guy who maybe gets just a couple of catches, is a decoy. Even just having him out there
is going to
help. Yeah, because it's going to help change the way the defense plays them at that point. So, but again, it's just a better team, guys. If you look at their whole season, the Niners basically haven't lost except for when they played the Ravens or if they had a lot of injuries. So this is one injury. It's not nearly as many injuries they had.
But you also have to take away that 3-game losing streak that they had
with all the injuries.
Deebo was all those injuries.
No, he wasn't the only one. It's also Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, you're talking basically like
Ayuk
a lot of the
still played those games. He wasn't
himself. He wasn't himself.
He wasn't.
He was the Shaq.
He's the Robin to Deebo's Batman.
I would disagree. I actually would disagree. I would say that they're the Wonder Twins. I think they're both as important because they're both different types of players.
You're not wrong. The thing is, when you have Deebo out on the field, Ayuk can do the one powers thing going on. But when Deebo is out, Ayuk turns into the Robin. He needs his Batman. Or his Wonder Twin. He did not play the same through those games. You're not wrong.
I don't dispute that. I don't think that Deebo would play as well without Ayuk.
I'm just saying, this year, out of how many losses did they have? The 4?
Yeah. But again, it wasn't just Deebo though.
It wasn't just Deebo. But that
Trent Williams is a huge loss. When you lose the best tackle base all of football, and I hate to say it as a Giant fan, I love Andrew Thomas there, but Trent Williams is the best offensive tackle in all of football.
You're right. But the offense, I mean, yes.
And that was
wrong
one
with
injury
Trent
on the line. They
Williams.
had multiple injuries. They had multiple injuries on the offensive line. That whole team was banged up for a couple weeks.
Debo, I'm just saying, Debo being out really
You don't
changed
like
that
Ayuk.
offense.
I get it. You don't like Ayuk.
No, I love Ayuk. He was on my fantasy team.
You apparently
he got
don't.
me to the playoffs.
Being mean to him right now.
Not
You're listening,
being mean to
Brandon
him,
Ayuk.
just
I
letting him-
apologize for Rob. Rob's opinions given on the Two Giant Goofball podcast, that of their own individuals.
Just saying, some players they play better with other players around them. And
I don't
that's
dispute
not
that part of it, though.
knocking them. I'm not knocking that. It's just you have to respect both players. If you could double cover just Samuel or Ayuk, it changes the way they play the game. But if you have to respect both those guys, and you also got Kittle healthy, like it changes the whole offense. How many corners are you going to stick out there? How many spies and safeties you're going to use?
If I had to pick which one I'm taking, I'd be torn.
I personally would go with Ayuk, but like, he also plays better with Debo. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
As a guy that literally had him all year through fantasy football, he's played better with Samuel there.
Yeah, I said Samuel plays better with him there.
I mean,
Ayuk's the one that takes it over the top at that point, opens things up down below for him.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, Ayuk started all the games.
I'm just saying, can we not belittle either one of them? Yeah. They're both special people in their own special way.
On a special bus.
Stop being a bully.
To the stadium.
Anyway, I'm picking the Niners if I haven't made it obvious here. I'm picking the Niners to win. I'm picking them to cover the spread because it's only a touchdown. And I'm picking the under on the points as well here because I just don't think – I think it's going to be another one that it's going to be just a closer game. I think it's going to be like a 21 to 28 kind of game there at that point where they'll probably squeak out the spread at that point. But it's going to be a higher scoring game, do you would think, with the Niners with that defense there. But yeah, that's what I got. I got Niners, and I got under still on the points.
Yeah, once again, we are going to disagree a lot on this game.
That's fine. Listen, I like that we disagree because you know what? Exactly. Next week's going to be fun. We get to talk.
It's going to make it very spicy because I'm going to start off with the over-under. I think this game's going to be a shootout. I'm going to tell you why. Because the Lions' offensive line has played pretty damn good this year against the pass rush. Not the best, but they play pretty good. And they've stepped up their game, playing a lot better. And we all saw how the Niners played last week against an offensive line that helped stop that pass rush. And how did the Packers look at the 7th seed coming into that game against the number 1? They almost won that game. Now you're looking at the number 2 seed, who's been playing great all effing
you just
year.
Call the Lions at number 2.
Oh, who does number 2 work for? Campbell.
Who does number 2 work for?
I'm taking the Lions in the spread, and I was very close of taking them to win overall, but I had to dial my self back a little bit and actually bring myself to reality with the Niners to win. But I would not be surprised if the Lions pull out this win in a very close shootout game. The Lions' defense is the second defense on the team. They're not as good as the Niners. But I do think when at all cylinders are running right now, the past few games, the Lions have been playing better offense. And if Debo's not there, it's going to be better. Shanahan likes to play conservative football, and you got Dan Campbell, who likes to be aggressive. And I think the aggressor will win this game or be very close to it. But like you said, the experience and the number 1 seed tells you a lot of things when they're playing at home in the championship. So once again, I'm taking the Niners to win this game in a very close matchup. Lions against the spread in the over and the shootout.
All righty. There you got it, folks. We're going to either next week, either I'm going to be very right or Rob's going to be very right because we are totally different on these games. That's the fun when you get down to into these games, though, because I think Rob and I would agree that either one of these games, either one of these teams could win, and we wouldn't be shocked. We'd be like, "Oh my god, I didn't see this coming. I didn't think that was a possible thing," you know. So, it's going to be interesting to see this next weekend, but one of us is going to be pretty right and one of us will be pretty wrong. So we'll find out.
Let's put it this way. I put it very sneakily. I do think the Lions are going to – I think the Lions have a very good shot at winning this game.
Listen, no team is not in this. No team is not in this.
But this is what
as much as everybody thinks it's going to be the Chiefs, obviously it could be the Ravens and the Niners. Everybody thinks that automatically.
Come Tuesday,
there's no automatic on this.
Come Tuesday, past Tuesday, when I saw that Samuel was hurt, didn't play, I went on one of these sports books and I saw that it was plus like 2,100 or whatever. I took the Lions to win the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So if you put $100, you will win $21,000 on it.
Yeah. Hopefully
so
get your money.
Not that I put that money on there, but
you should have, apparently.
I'm poor. And I don't know about like that anyway.
Well,
I bet responsibly. I bet $1 for 21.
Well, speaking of being poor, we're gonna go ahead and pay the bills real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and read the comments, and then we're gonna get into the Giants NFL news here. I see a lot of comments, by the way, pertaining to things going on in the NFL. We're going to cover all that with you guys here in just a moment here. So let's pay those bills real quick.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Oh, yeah. Let's get to that comment section here. All right. Your dad starts off with a howdy.
Howdy, Dad. I don't know if you're still watching, but howdy.
I do find interesting because he's got the old-timey get up there in that picture at that point that he says howdy, by the way.
So, do you know where he lives now?
I know he lives
in the area.
Yeah.
He lives in
Arizona.
He lives in Prescott Valley, and he's right where the OK Corral should happen. He's about 40 minutes away. So they have like the whole thing out there. I guess it's not a remembrance of it, but they have like that time period thing because that's when it was building up.
So they do a in Tucson, I want to say it is. There's an old movie set from that it was used in a lot of Western movies. And if you go there once a year, they do what they call Wild West Con, actually.
Oh.
And it's a cowboy, and it's a very steampunky con, actually. So it's like cowboy steampunk, actually. So if anybody's in that area and likes that kind of stuff, I've always been kind of curious to go. We've talked about going.
Hey, Dad, Drew and I are coming out to visit you.
Yeah, going to Wild West Con. Connor says, "Who let the dogs out? Who? Well, I don't know who, because Rob and I are here. I don't think anybody lets our dogs out." He says, "Hey, Drew, couldn't find any stats in Michael Ghobrial as player. He played defensive end in UCLA, I believe. Do you have any stats? Heard he was very good." Again, I couldn't find any stats. I'll say this, though, as far as I heard he's very good. If he was very good, it'd be more than 2 seasons.
That wrong.
If he was very good to be in the NFL. So I, mean, I wouldn't say he's very good.
You know what to say is players that can't play, coach.
That's usually what it is. And the ones that are really the best ever don't tend to coach very well. Can't coach. Look at Michael Jordan as an owner. Look at Wayne Gretzky as a coach. It doesn't tend to work out. Connor says, "You're welcome, Drew. Kind of keep you to peak at your powers. With great power comes great responsibility." Well, thank you, Uncle Ben. I enjoy your rice, by the way. Jason Pattison says, "Hey, guys. Hey, Jason. What's up, man?
What's up, bud?
Dakota in the house. See, Dakota has come out from his crying
nerds
of the Eagles losing, and says nerd.
Hey, congratulations, by the way, man. Hey, I hope that the baby's well.
Yes. Oh yeah, we haven't seen it in a while. Yeah. Feel pretty good.
Since he had to walk his dogs after his wife gave birth.
Yeah. Let's see. Connor says, Roberto, did you say touche or tushy? LOL.
Both.
And then Dakota suggests that your husband is in the shower. Wow.
That's messed up, man.
Seriously.
I just spoke nice about you.
Dakota says,
playoffs.
Part of the Eagles. Playoffs. WTF Eagles fans. Definitely tuned up. CDs, nuts. It's crazy. That sounds funnier when you get that comment out of context. But he was talking about the fact that I was saying that basically like CDs were just coming out the last time they won a playoff game. He says kneecaps. I don't remember what kneecaps was. There was that quote that it's a quote that Dan Campbell gave when he first got hired on.
Yeah, they were by kneecaps.
Yeah. But yeah, Dakota. Yeah, I'd like to say sorry for your loss in the playoffs here, but yeah, we're not sorry. And of course, Dakota and Connor going at it for a minute there. Dakota says, what do you guys think about the whole Dable Wink Martin thing? Sorry if I missed it. No, you're good, man. Just go back. We have a lot of things on that, a lot of comments. Just go back. You'll see everything as far as that there. It'd be too much to just rehash over real quick for everybody there. But the best one to do is if you go back to the one that we had, if you look, there's on the YouTube channel, you'll see the one with Jordan Raanan, the ESPN beat reporter. That's probably the best one because that's the most recent one of the thoughts there, which was that Monday? I think it was. That was Monday's show, right?
So.
I'm pretty sure it's Monday's show. So so you got a Monday show, man. That'll give you that. I don't even know what Connor's saying. I don't think they're on the same team anymore. Oh, we're talking about the Wink thing. Okay. These guys. Let's get off of that part then. He says, can't believe Bucks OC got hired at NC. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And he said, and WTF the Titans do. Well, listen, Titans, I don't mind the Titans move at all. They need a quarterback. Yeah. They got a guy who's doing very good with quarterbacks. A guy who did very good with a backup quarterback even this year. I'm cool with that pick actually. He says Pete Carroll on the outside looking in. What happens to Belichick? Where will he coach? Deb says seems like not many bites on Carroll or Belichick. Maybe age. Dakota says I think Bill before Pete for sure. Deb says still got Vrabel out there too. Dakota says Vrabel number one choice for sure. In my opinion, Deb's the only Commanders and Seahawks left for HC. They're just going through all the NFL news before we can get into it.
Yeah, right. To break it through. Actually, I might as well jump in because I just saw that the Bills are officially interviewing Joe Brady for the offensive coordinator.
Well, yeah, but that's the full-time position. He is their interim as it is. He's
that's
going to happen. We all know that one. I saw that as well. Like I said, that's me. I didn't even put that on the list because that's such a foregone conclusion. It's not even funny. Dakota said, I think Vrabel to Seahawks and Ben Johnson to Washington. We are named Vrabel, he says. Wow. He's not named after a state. 2 states even, Dakota. Are you North or South Dakota? Connor says, hope Vrabel doesn't come to Washington. Dakota, playoffs. Dakota says, you guys need a shirt with you guys stamped on it saying playoffs. I don't think we can do that. I think that's like people would just assume that they know better. Connor says nothing can contain Lamar in rushing.
But the thing is,
a good pass rush.
Pass rush and a spy. You don't need to stop him from running. You need to contain him from running.
Yeah. And then Connor says, you two look good dancing in that Lions picture. Well, thank you. Dakota says, Dakota, not ta. Listen, I can't help it if you changed it to avoid copyright infringement. He says public domain shirts. All right, let's get into the news here. Like I said, we got a good amount of news here to go over here. So first off, Giants news here. So Kayvon Thibodeau said publicly that Saquon should have been paid before DJ. Made some people upset. Ooh, I thought that was kind of interesting. Listen,
I mean, Kayvon's he's a vocal guy, but also
yeah,
that's something you don't come out and say even if you think it. That's something you may say to your staff, your owners, the ownership.
yeah.
But
I'll
publicly,
just say this: hindsight's 2020, but he ain't wrong.
no. But we also talked about too, like, was the tag too much for him based off the market? So was he wrong for saying that?
I don't think any of us
I
saw
mean,
Daniel Jones falling to earth like he did this year. If Daniel Jones
no,
played this year just like he played last year,
he wouldn't
hypothetically,
be here.
we're not having this conversation. We're like, you know what? We're stuck with the devil we got. You know?
He wouldn't be here. They
No.
didn't give him the 5th-year option.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Dan Duggan reports that the Giants are not going to be handing Evan Neal the right tackle starting position and plan to bring in competition. Moving him to guard is also not off the table. Let's see. When did we report that? Oh, yeah. Several weeks ago, we said that. It's almost like we know what we're talking about. Again, it's not
almost like we
difficult to
talked
read the
about
tea
that by
leaves.
like week 2.
Because of what he said. We made sure that we said that when the press conference was there at the end of the season, the day after that final game. You heard Dable and Shane both talk about Evan Neal, and they did not say he'd be back as a starting right tackle. They did not say anything like that. They were asked about him. They purposely did not say that. It wasn't difficult to figure that out. So I guess he just finally heard it from a source to confirm it. Jordan Ronan reports that the Giants plan to promote Tim McDonald to assistant GM if they lose Brandon Brown. Obviously, he's still in the running here to be a GM for the Chargers. Obviously, the Carolina spot that he was also going for is already taken. So Tim McDonald is currently the team's director of player personnel. If the name sounds familiar, it's because he's also John Mara's nephew and grandson of Wellington Mara, the Duke. And there's been always whispers that he would take over if something were to happen to John Mara. Like that he's next in line basically to be the family representative of the New York Giants. I think it should be Kate Mara personally. Just saying. I'd like the press conferences more.
Her and Eli got along very well.
But yeah, I mean, this is the Giants' way to a certain degree. They love the nepotism. They don't even hide it. It's annoying and endearing at the same time because it's like, yes, they like their people, they're loyal to people and stuff like that. It's a little more annoying though when it's a guy who is literally in the family. And part of the problem you run into is what has he done as the director of player personnel? Most people couldn't even tell you what that position is. Couldn't even tell you. Now, I'll tell you what it is because I know it. But it's basically that's the guy who evaluates talent for the team. So, conducting the evaluation of them during activities, watching them on the field, seeing what's going on, giving recommendations on who to look for in free agency and stuff like that, which is very much what an assistant GM does. So I can't sit there and say that he's not qualified for the position. But without knowing his specific advice he's given or his specific, it's hard for me to say if it's fully nepotism or if he actually is good at evaluating.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at the talent we've had the past few years.
Yeah. But what if he was the guy who said, yeah, go for Kayvon, don't go for Neal, go for Deontay Banks, don't go for Eric Gray. Like we don't know.
Yeah, slandered Thibodeau in the draft, right before the draft. You do it. All right, good. We're taking him. He could have been that guy.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I don't know because we don't hear that kind of stuff to know what to go for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
only people that know if he's actually qualified are the people that are in the building, and they're not going to say it. Listen, you're telling me the owner's nephew is high up? You think him ever speak out about him in a bad way?
Yeah.
Now,
No,
that being
but-
said, that dynamic right there is what causes part of the problem, though, too. I almost wish what they would do is go ahead and put him in the Steelers organization for a couple of years. So, for those who don't know or may have forgotten, John Mara married into the Rooney family, who own the Steelers. That's why Kate Mara's sister is Rooney Mara, the one that was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the actress there who's married to actor Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
But put him there with his less. There was no nepotism. I mean, you obviously have the connections that your in-laws own the team. It's a good, well-run organization. I'd prefer to see that personally.
Yeah, and then it also gives them different growth aspects and seeing different views on how to do the job than what he's seen.
Exactly. But again, it's like I want to complain on principle, but I can't say if he's actually legitimate, ready, able to do the job. I can't.
Yeah.
So we shall see, I guess. All right, let's get into some NFL news. We had some head coachings being hired today. So, yes, head coach's time. So, Falcons signed Raheem Morris as their next head coach. You may remember him as the defensive coordinator the last couple of years for the LA Rams. Was also previously a interim head coach for the Falcons as well, and they let him go. They shouldn't have let him go. Team played much better when they hired him on as the head coach for the rest of that year. And I was kind of shocked when they did. But they reversed their mistake. He's a guy who's gotten a couple of stints as a head coach there with that one interim position there, plus had some time in Tampa as well as a head coach. He's a good coach, guys. I've been a fan of him for a little while, saying he needs another shot. He's a guy that, unfortunately, wasn't too successful necessarily in Tampa. Had one good year, had two really bad years. Had 17 wins overall in 3 years, but the team was 4-7 with him as the head coach in 2020. But again, he's a good coach. Like, give him another shot here. I think I'm not so sure he's going to be a great coach, but he's not going to embarrass himself. By the way, he's also a Jersey boy. He's from Irvington, New Jersey.
Ooh, Irvington. You know what he's not? He's not my theory that Bill Belichick is going to go down to the Falcons.
Yeah. The other thing was that one, right? All that stuff. And I was hearing earlier today about the fact they didn't think that was going to be happening for some reason. I guess now we know why. The Panthers also signed their new coach, Dave Canales, the offensive coordinator from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After just 1 year as an OC, becomes their head coach. And if you want to know why he is the head coach, I can tell you 2 words: Geno Baker. He did great things with Baker over in Tampa this year. Year prior to that, he was the quarterback coach in Seattle, where he obviously was the coach that helped resurrect Geno Smith's career. They just made, obviously, the huge trade to get Bryce Young in there, who did not look good his rookie year. It's not to say that he's going to be done. But yeah, this is a move to say, okay, we got to fix this quarterback before this gets away from us.
I mean, if you're an offensive coordinator somewhere, I guess maybe because he's up and coming, but if you're in this league and you see Tepper and you see the way Carolina's played and what that organization's done the past 4 years, but 3 head coaches and how many another 3 interim coaches.
Yeah, like I said,
would you want to become the head coach there?
I get it.
You better be paying that guy a lot of money.
Here's the thing, though: if you're Dave Canales, let's be very frank and say that if you told me at the end of the year, give me some lists of some coordinators and I get a head coaching job. Oh, and by the way, Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, and Pete Carroll would all be available. I'm probably not going to give you a Dave Canales in that list of guys that I thought would have got a head coaching job. And I think what this just boils down to is he's taken a job when a job is being offered, because you never know if that opportunity ever comes again in life.
Yeah. I guess he's also going to ride high on this because they're probably going to keep Baker in Tampa Bay. And who knows if Baker plays like he did this past year, because his career doesn't show that. I mean, he went to the playoffs with the Browns how many times? Once? Twice?
Once, yeah.
Once. So he went to 2 games with Tampa Bay?
1 year with Tampa Bay was 2 games, because they won the first one.
Saying.
It was
so
2 games.
He
was 2 games with the Browns as well, because he won there too.
Okay, all right, sorry.
He's 2-2 in his career in the playoffs, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that's how I was trying to remember. If he won 1 or lost,
he won one. He won 1 in Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay. So
So again, we'll see. But I get it. I think it's not a horrible hire by them. I'm a little shocked that they didn't go for one of the big names out there. But let's be honest here. If you want to develop a quarterback, Pete Carroll's been one of the 3 big names out there that I would say has developed a quarterback, because obviously Russell Wilson went there with nothing. And you got a very young quarterback. You want to put a 73-year-old coach or whatever he is with him, and then a couple of years have to figure out your next coach?
I mean, it depends.
I hate to say it here, but
so the thing I was looking at this with the Falcons is why I was saying Billy Belichick down there is you got a pretty solid defense, and the Falcons for the past few years have done just old school grind 'em football. Have a pretty good defense, have a pretty good run game, play close football, but they're not developed to have the ability to come back if they're down by 10, because the whole thing is to have a close football game. So if you bring in a quarterback coach or someone like a Pete Carroll that could develop someone, you bring in someone like a Kirk Cousins who has a good offensive line in front of him, some good running backs behind him, and a great defense, and you bring in one of the best head coaches in modern times.
here's one of the things I heard. One of the things I've heard is Belichick is shooting himself in the foot because he doesn't recognize he's not in a position of bargaining power. From what I heard, he wanted Terry Fontenot, the GM of the Falcons, gone.
I
don't know.
Even still,
I don't know if
Pete Carroll down there.
But what the whole thing is that these guys got to recognize that they're on the market and no one's running like crazy to go grab them, which means you can't have the kind of, unless you just don't care if you coach again, you can't be putting up these demands. Either take the job you get that makes sense for you,
you would think,
or you ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, you would think Pete Carroll would have a little bit more demand power, since
Pete Carroll wanted that Chargers job. That's what he wanted. And I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure he was really in the running ever for the Falcons. I never heard of that one there.
I don't think he went down there. I'm just saying, like, an organization like the Falcons, right? You go from the old gruesome football kind of like play nitty and gritty, close football, great defense, slow clock play on the offense, just let it run down. You bring in someone like Pete Carroll that can develop quarterbacks, and you bring in like a bridge quarterback, like, he can set your team up for success for a very long time, even though he may only be there for 2 or 3 years.
I think they just want a guy who's going to be there long term.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
This is a very monkey see, monkey do kind of league, and if you look at what's going on right now, look at the successful teams here in the league. Let's talk about. We got 3 out of 4 that are currently still playing that fit in this category. Where you have a head coach that's been there a long time, has developed a quarterback, and has been now winning with that quarterback. Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh is a great example of that. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, clearly a very good, combo of that as well. Obviously Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff is the one exception to that. He was traded in for and kind of been resurrected to a certain degree. I'm going to dispute
the last one with Shanahan because Brock Purdy, how long has he actually been a Niner?
Doesn't matter. He's been developed. This is his second year, and they got to the NFC Championship game both years.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this is what
he did. How much development did he do in that first year compared to
a lot? Obviously,
you can still develop. You could still.
You don't think it looks a lot better in the end of the season than they did in the beginning?
But this year?
Last year, I'm saying he didn't look a lot more comfortable in the offense.
Last year. This year, I would dispute that a little bit. I'd dispute that if they looked better.
This year, he had a couple of bad games, but I mean,
I would say he looked great, until he lost in the against the Eagles.
He looked great until he didn't.
Until he blew out his bicep, yeah.
Yeah. To me, that's what it's all about. You want to pair a coach and a QB, put them at the hip for you're hoping 5-10 years.
I hear what you're saying with that, but at the same
time, do that when you have a 70-something-year-old coach like this. You want to, and I hate to sound like an ageist, but I'm just being real on this. You want to put him into a scenario where you go, this is a guy who knows how to win, has won consistently wherever he goes, and I'm going to put him onto this team because this team is already set up to win, and he'll mentor somebody to replace him in a couple of years, and hopefully we'll start a dynasty.
You're not wrong with saying that, but here's the counter argument. But before I get to the counter argument, how old is Andy Reid?
Andy Reid, I believe, is 67. I want to say for some reason.
So he's got 4 years.
65 actually. He's even less.
Oh, he definitely. Maybe he should start doing some yoga. That definitely.
This not sickles age you.
Yeah, I guess so. So 6 years younger, because they're talking about retiring. He might retire after this year, maybe the next year. I'm just saying, you get Pete Carroll, who looks younger and more in shape and running around than Andy Reid.
Oh, yes.
You bring him on for 3 years. He helps develop your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, your coaching staff around. You help build a different mentality with your team. You help build that young quarterback, and mentor. And he could even do like a Tom Coughlin and step out and still be there. You could still change an organization with a head coach like that. And I get what you're saying. You want to bring a young coach in to help develop, but you don't know what they're made of. Andy Reid already was a known guy from the Eagles and developed with Neb to play pretty good. And then he did the same thing with Patrick Mahomes.
Keep in mind though, when he went to the Eagles, though, he was very young. So when he went to the Chiefs here, he was 41 when he started at the Eagles. So when he started with the Chiefs, he was, and I say only because it's not that old in coaching years. He was 55.
Wait, he's been there for that long already?
Yes, he's been 11 years in Kansas City, did 14 years in Philadelphia.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just blew my mind. I'm thinking he's there for like 7 years. 7 years.
I know. It doesn't feel like 11 years at all, but I'm saying they hired him still younger at that point there. It wasn't like 55 is not an old head coach.
I mean, you're talking about like, I get what I'm saying. Like Pete Carroll is one of the oldest coaches in the league, but you look at him. He doesn't look his age. He's around the field. He moves around.
Listen, I'm not listening. You don't have to convince me. You don't got to convince me.
Yeah.
If I had a team right now that had a head coach opening, I am calling Pete Carroll and saying, get the hell out of your advisor role. Ready, let's come on down. Here's the keys.
Like I said, you get him for 3 to 5 years. That changes your organization because what he brings to the table. I'm telling you right now,
I would do it in a freaking heartbeat. And if the Giants didn't have Dable, I'd be screaming for the Giants to do that right now.
Yeah, I agree. Like
I have a lot of
fight
respect
for a
Pete
team and
Carroll.
an organization that I give nothing about.
Now, I'll say point blank, when the
Sneaky Pete.
Seahawks hired him, I was like, what the hell? The guy did bad in the Patriots, and he threw a lot of money to get players at USC. Like, why would you hire this guy? He learned something along the way because he was spectacular with Seattle. And I don't think it's anything to do with, the players themselves he had in Seattle. Don't get me wrong, he had great players and they contributed to his success, but I don't think it's because of the exact scenario. Like he couldn't duplicate that elsewhere. I think part of it is who he is. I think part is the respect the players have for him. But again, you and I are not in this position. So what we're staring down the barrel of now instead is you got Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, Ron Rivera, Mike Vrabel, all without coaching jobs. There's 4 guys that in the last couple of years you would have said these are legitimate head coaches in this league. These are guys you're talking about, Bill Belichick being potentially best or second best coach to ever coach in the NFL.
Yep.
Pete Carroll, 1-time Super Bowl winner, 2-time Super Bowl coach. Word, he lost the one. Ron Rivera has gone to a Super Bowl as a head coach. Mike Vrabel built the Titans from a scrap heap to being a perennial playoff team for a couple of years there.
Who won the #1 seed?
Yeah. So you're talking a really good coach, and they're all available. And there's 2 more positions left. Those 2 positions, Washington, Seattle. I think it's a safe bet that Carroll's not going to Seattle. I think it's a safe bet that Ron Rivera's not going to DC. And Vrabel and Belichick have not interviewed at those spots. It's going to be interesting, guys. This is going to be one of those things where you're going to potentially have some guys on the outside looking in that you never would have thought would have been on the outside looking in. Because for some reason, teams are going young. They're going so young, it's not even funny. They're hiring guys that are first-time head coaches. You want to talk about the big names on there? The teams want to talk to Ben Johnson more than these guys. The offensive coordinator for the Lions. That's who they want to talk to. Ben Johnson will probably get his pick, and I'm telling you right now, the Commanders will open up and give a blank checkbook to get him. And I like him. He's a very smart coach. He's a very good coach. And I think that Dan Campbell would definitely miss him in Detroit. I think he's a big part of what's gotten that offense going. So it's not to say that Ben Johnson's not a legit coach, but what I'm saying is he doesn't nearly have the resume of these 4.
Yeah, 100%.
So.
Listen, I mean, when all those coaches started and they got their first head coaching job, I mean, Bill Belichick had a couple Super Bowl rings already, but it's not like.
Well, he had him as an assistant, as a coordinator. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I'm saying when you get hired as a coordinator, you don't have that much. Yeah, most of these guys are new. They get hired when they were hired. I'm saying from the get go, but they become the best at the head coach. Like they saw something and the talent they had, and that's what the NFL is doing right now. They're just trying to let's wash out the old style football because the NFL has evolved in the past 20 years, 25 years. Do we want to take these guys that have been in the league coaching for the past 20, 25 years?
Maybe we're just going through right now with coaches what we did recently with quarterbacks. I mean, if you look at the last 5 years, we lost Eli, Peyton, Breeze, Brady, Matt Ryan, Rivers, Roethlisberger, all gone. So I'm saying, all these guys gone. That's like a third of the quarterbacks in the league gone that were consistent for 10 years. Maybe that's what we're going to be going through with coaching now. Maybe it's just a whole bunch of new coaches. These guys are just going to have to pick rocks and move on. Except Vrabel. I do think Vrabel got a shot somewhere else. I do think that, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if all of a sudden DC and Seattle calls him up and says, "Hey, why don't you come in for an interview?" He's young. He's still there. He's still very respected. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. In other news, Kellen Moore, former Chargers OC, former Cowboys OC, is interviewing now for the Eagles offensive coordinator spot. See, Dakota, we got some we got some news here
Little
for you on the Eagles.
news.
Yeah. So interesting move there. You know, it's hard to judge him in his Chargers days, obviously, because the Chargers have just been a shit show. Didn't do too bad, I thought, as a OC with the Cowboys, but just didn't see him get along with McCarthy for whatever reason. The real big news today, besides the coaching hires, Patriots 6th-round pick from the last draft, former LSU wide receiver Kayshon Boutte was arrested today for illegal online gambling of more than 8,900 bets, including betting on LSU games while in school. He even used an alias to gamble as he was not yet 21. Yeah. And, you know, I remember us talking about him last year. We talked about this was a guy that we didn't know even. We were hard pressed to even try to give a, you know, draft profile on this guy because he was never able to stay on the field. There was always all kinds of, you know, issues with him overall. You know, it's there's been a lot of issues with him. And, you know, most of it's been injuries.
To lose.
Yeah, but most of it's been injuries. But now, again, you'd have to look at what's going on now and say, okay, did he get injured for real? Was he going out of games to win?
Oh, my elbow. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Fast guy, has a lot of natural skill. A guy you thought would have been really good. And just, like I said, never was able to get it, you know, going at that point there. Yeah. So like we said, we'll have to see. I think a lot more news is going to come out in this whole thing before it's all said and done. And I'm kind of curious where this goes. I hope for football's sake that it ends with him and this guy becomes a lesson on why you don't do that. Because, yeah.
That apparently wasn't the lesson last year with the
scary world that you
Lions.
open up when you start doing these. But it's like, this is the scary lesson that you have when you start allowing gambling everywhere, you know? I mean, you know, it's a scary world that you open up these possibilities. But I like gambling and betting on sports. I think we should be allowed to. Don't get me wrong. It's just you got to be really, really careful. You just got
well, I mean, there's difference. If you're betting on the game that you're playing, that you're in, and you're betting on the other team to win, it's not a good look. If you're betting on yourself to win, like, granted, it's still not the best look, but I don't look down on that. That's, to me, I think that's a little, hey, we're going to win this game. I believe in me and my team.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I do. But the problem you run into is you open up your chances to them now having agreements with the other players on the other side that don't care.
Yeah.
And that changes things. There. That's why you're better off just not doing it. That's why you're better off just...
Prop bet. I'm going to run for 100 yards next game.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you talk to the defense and you say, hey, I'm going to give you $100. Just let me go through this one. Game's over anyway. You change the score whenever you change the outcome potentially anytime you let somebody involved with the game gamble. It's just, it can't be done. It can't be done. All right. We got a couple comments here. Let's go through these real quick and then we'll head on out here for the night. Deb says, oops, why is it not coming up here? Come on.
Oh, geez. Oh,
no.
geez.
The program's not working. No. There we go. Oh, we lost it. We had it. We lost it. She says, I would like the press conferences more too. Damn straight. Kate Mara should do all the press conferences. To go to the playoffs again. And he says, what do you guys think of Grabma? What is Grabma? It's like something that I'm supposed to know, but I don't know.
Grandmaster? What?
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Kind of says press conferences. Dakota says more playoff games won than a lot out there, Baker. Yeah, no, like I said, Baker's had some success in this league. Connor says Baker maybe lose so much money by throwing the interception. Did he make you or did you by betting? Larkin's skill is so faded. You all think Belichick gonna sit out a year and wait to see what the Giants do with Dable? LOL. Nope. Honestly, I mean, at his age, I think if he sits out a year, he might be done. I hate to say it that way because I like guys to go out on their own terms. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think football keeps him going. I mean, he had a girlfriend at the beginning of the season, broke up with her. So this way he could concentrate on the Patriots. And
is that why he broke up with her?
That's pretty much what
my time. You got to go.
And growing up, I had a wrestling coach that in high school who was phenomenal. And he said he didn't break with his wife, but he literally told all the wrestlers, like, listen, if you're going to be in a competitive sport, like, and you want to make this work, you need to concentrate. You need to get in there and put your head in the game. It's like, no girlfriends. And
that's ridiculous.
I tell my wife every year. From November after Thanksgiving to the end of wrestling season, I need to concentrate. It's like, we'll spend our times on the weekends when I'm away from wrestling, but no time will distract me from coaching my team.
So when did he get divorced?
No, he actually got his wife pregnant on Thanksgiving.
So obviously he didn't follow his own rule. Just saying.
Oh no!
Anyway,
Black Friday is the start of wrestling season, so he made sure they took their time together.
Oh God! Anyway.
They're still married. They got a few kids now. I'm sure they all were. Let's see,
summer babies.
It probably early summer babies, and they're still happily married, and he's still a coach.
I mean, but here's the question I guess people should ask in this little scenario with Belichick. Is Belichick still Belichick? I mean, he tried to rebuild that Patriot team after Brady left. And I'm not even blaming him for the whole Brady leaving thing. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody thought that Brady was – I mean, everybody thought Brady was done when he was his last year with his Patriots. He just somehow got a little more magic there. I don't know what he did or what he took or whatever. I don't know. But something happened, and all of a sudden he was better again. But he was not that player as last year in the Patriots there. We all thought it was over. Everybody did. I was shocked that anybody even traded, signed him at that point. It was like, yeah, let's give him all this money. And like, he's 44 years old and like not so good at the end of the year. Like, why would you do that? But, obviously goes ahead and wins the Super Bowl. But this is the same guy who put Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in charge of an offense. This is the same guy who's had trouble fielding a competitive team outside of the very first year he lost Brady. I wonder, and I hate to word it this way because listen, this age stuff is going to hit us all one day. It's, God willing. But has the game passed him by?
Maybe.
I'm not so sure it hasn't, and I'm not saying it definitely has. I think maybe you put him on a team. I think part of the GM responsibilities was too much for him, to be honest. I think that part of it definitely did. But I think if you put him if you put him on a team that's stacked already, you might be able to Phil Jackson it. So, all right, guys. That's going to call it a night for us here. So we will see you guys again on Monday. We do the recap here for you guys on the 2 championship games. We'll find out who was right, me or Rob. And, of course, we will go ahead and give you guys all the latest news, any updates in the Giants, the NFL overall there for you. So keep an eye out there. Wednesday, we will do our second annual Goof Awards there. So, yes, the Goof Awards. Okay. So we'll have that for you guys there, giving all our meaningless award winners for the 2023 season there. And then, of course, Thursday, I will be at the Pro Bowl. So we're going to have some stuff coming for you guys on that. I'll be at the Pro Bowl there. And I will be at the Pro Bowl on Sunday as well, obviously, as well. Still waiting to hear back. I actually did talk to Pat Hanlon, if you guys know that guy there, the VP of the Giants, who was trying to get me in touch with somebody to see if we can actually get a chance to interview Sexy Dexy. I probably shouldn't say that on here because I don't think that's going to happen. But they see what they can do to see if they can get that together for us. So that'd be nice if we can get that rolling. So we'll take a look and see what we can do. Worst case scenario, I will be on the field on Thursday when they're doing all the drills and stuff like that, and I will do my best to get his attention and see if we can't get him on the show that way as well, because that'd be freaking awesome to get a chance to talk to him. Maybe get some dance lessons while we're at it too, you know? So again, we will see you guys again Monday, going over everything there. And appreciate you guys. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, Instagram, and of course, Rob's favorite, oh yes, my LinkedIn profile. He loves my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we are available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. We're on the Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Podcasts, all the big ones out there. So as always, guys, we appreciate you guys listening in. And of course, as always, go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.